All right, we'll make this one quick. Faisal, Danielle, it is off day, media day. The Warriors speaking first, the Raptors speaking in about half an hour. Steve Kerr already at the podium. Let's take you live to him right now.
Any questions?
Take first question right here on 2.
Sandeep Chanak with Yahoo Sports. Coach, tomorrow's the last game at Oracle, and obviously you guys would like to end it with a win, but regardless of that, what has Oracle meant to you over the years?
This has been just an incredible environment in which to coach and play back in the day, even when the Warriors weren't any good. To come in here as a visitor and feel the energy in this building, you could tell that the fans loved the game, that this was a basketball hotbed, and just the atmosphere out there, the energy, the noise. Over the last 5 years with our team's rise, combined with that organic energy that this place has always had, it's just been an incredible experience to coach here.
What's been your favorite memory from Oracle that you can remember?
My favorite memory was winning the Western Conference Finals in 2015. We beat Houston in Game 5 to advance to the finals, and it was surreal. We weren't sure we were good enough to do it, and the fans hadn't seen anything like that in 40 years. So that was, to me, when this sort of all started.
Okay, if we can try to hold it to one question, we can get around the room as fast as we can. Tim on the right side.
Steve, Tim Reynolds with the AP. Many times in this series, you've talked about a need for better transition D, better half-court D. What was your assessment of the defense you guys played in Game 5, particularly on the perimeter?
I thought we played pretty well. We can always do better, but our guys competed like crazy. That's the main thing. Toronto's tough to guard because they've got a lot of passers and a lot of shooters. They put you in some difficult spots, but everybody who came in was prepared to play, and they were flying around and rotating. We did everything we could to hang in the game on the road, and we were able to pull it out. So we know that's what it's going to take here as well.
Ann here in the center in the second row.
Hi, Steve. Ann Killian, San Francisco Chronicle. I know we're only supposed to do one question, but I'd love to get a comment from you on the news about Lindsey Gottlieb.
Yeah.
But also, everyone is looking to point fingers. Bob the other night said, you can blame me. On talk radio, it's like, who's to blame for this? What do you think about this whole conversation going on about someone has to be to blame for Kevin getting hurt?
I'll answer the Lindsey question first. Thrilled for Lindsey. Gotten to know her pretty well the last few years. She's visited our practices many times. I'm a transplanted Cal fan since I've had two kids there. So I'm disappointed for Cal that they're losing such a dynamic person and a great coach, but I'm thrilled for Lindsey. What a great opportunity and a great hire by the Cavaliers. She's a wonderful person and a hell of a coach. The second part of the question, I completely understand the world we live in. As Bob mentioned the other night, there's going to be blame, there's going to be finger pointing, and we understand that and we accept that. This is kind of what you sign up for when you get into coaching, general management in the NBA. There's all kinds of coverage, judgment, criticism, and it's all part of it. So we accept that. The main thing is our concern for Kevin, and these last couple of days just checking on him. Obviously, everybody feels horrible for what happened. We, as Bob mentioned the other night, this last month was a cumulative, collaborative effort in his rehabilitation. And that collaboration included Kevin and his business partner, Rich Kleinman, our medical staff, his own outside opinion, second opinion doctor outside of our organization. And Kevin checked all the boxes, and he was cleared to play by everybody involved. Now, would we go back and do it over again? Damn right. But that's easy to say after the the results. When we gathered all the information, our feeling was the worst thing that could happen would be a re-injury of the calf, and that was the advice and the information that we had. And at that point, once Kevin was cleared to play, he was comfortable with that. We were comfortable with that. So the Achilles came as a complete shock, and I don't know what else to add to that other than, had we known that this was a possibility, that this was even in the realm of possibility, there's no way we ever would have allowed Kevin to come back. So it's devastating, mostly for Kevin, obviously, but I feel horribly for Rick as well, Celebrini, who is one of the best people I've ever been around, and one of the smartest, brightest minds that I've ever been around. He's devastated. Bob, the team, we all are. But we made the decision collaboratively with all the information that we had, and we thought it was the right one.
Bruce, back left.
Right here, Steve. Bruce Arthur from the Toronto Star. After Kevin's injury, you guys came back in that game with big shots from kind of big game players. You're someone who's made shots at the highest levels of pressure in this game and who's coached guys who have made shots, stars and not, at the highest levels of pressure in this game. What does it take as a shooter, as a player, to, when the pressure is at its highest, this kind of back nine Sunday at the Masters pressure that this level of the series will provide? What does it take to be able to step into, take, and make those shots?
A willingness to miss and accept the consequences of missing. Until you get to that point, it's going to be tough. So you have to go into it knowing that even if you are the best in the world, you're going to miss half the time. If you can hit half your game-winning shots, that's a hell of a percentage. So, but if you go into it thinking, oh man, I don't want to miss, it's a big situation, then you're defeated already.
Karith, here, right here.
Hi, Steve. Karith Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. Going back to Lindsay Gottlieb and also Swin Cash getting a front office job with the Pelicans, do you feel like change is happening in the NBA, that women are finding entry points to the league that's reviewing their resumes and recognizing their talent?
Yeah, it does feel that way. Obviously, two big hires in the last few days. I think the women's game has gotten so much better. Last year's WNBA playoffs were so compelling. The Phoenix-Seattle series was incredible basketball. And I just think the talent that we're seeing, the level of play, is probably helping women to gain positions in the men's game. So it's great to see, and I'm really happy for Swin and for Lindsay, of course, and hopefully there'll be many more.
Thank you, Steve. We'll have Curry in here next.
All right, that was Warriors head coach Steve Kerr kicking off media availabilities today. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson will follow on the Warriors side, as well as Draymond Green, Demarcus Cousins, who are speaking on side podiums right now. We'll try to get you as much from them as well. As for the Raptors, it's Nick Nurse, Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, your usual subjects as well. With everybody else speaking on the side, we'll try to, again, bring you as much coverage as we can. Every question, essentially, except for one, or except for a couple at least, revolving around Kevin Durant.
Of course.
The news, Steve Kerr saying they thought it was the right play. It was a consultation, not just with the team doctors. Durant, his agent, his team, etc. Everyone felt it was the right move. Everyone suggested at least the calf injury could not get worse. Here we are with an Achilles injury, though. Not official, not a tear, not anything yet. We're still waiting for official word, but we know it's his Achilles.
Yeah, he went to New York for that MRI.
Yep.
Nothing's come out of that just yet. That was yesterday. Kerr stating pretty clearly that they felt their worst case outcome with the injury that Kevin had was to hurt the calf further, but it wasn't enough, obviously, for Durant to feel like he needed to sit out in a pivotal Game 5 situation where the Raptors have an opportunity to win the NBA championship. So as an NBA veteran of his stature, obviously he's not making this decision without a lot of people's input. And you got to figure that competitive spirit combined with all of these people saying, well, you've cleared all the hurdles we've given you. He looked good in the beginning. And this is perhaps a freak injury that occurred that had nothing to do with the other. We'll have to obviously wait and find that out because unfortunately right now we have to speculate on what the injury is because there isn't an official announcement.
Again, we are waiting. I think and you guys producers can correct me, I think they said Steph Curry was coming next. Yeah, it is Steph Curry. His reaction last game was probably, of all the players, was probably the most poignant, right? He was sad at the reaction originally, but also kind of, said Canadian fans are not like that. If we could revisit that, guys, before he gets to the podium. If he comes, we'll cut out of it. But here he is on the reaction from the Scotiabank Arena crowd when KD first got hurt.
Very confused around that reaction. It's not my experience with, the people of this city. And I commend, obviously, Danny Green and Kyle Lowry especially. I think they were the ones that were kind of signaling to the crowd, like, let's check ourselves a little bit and understand that this is about an individual and a human being and not, oh, shoot, he's out, he's hurt, we won the championship. Like, that was probably their initial thought. And you hate. Come on, boss.
We curse ourselves, obviously, by playing that clip. Steph Curry adjusting to the podium right now. Clay is actually, looks like he's joining him. A joint press conference because things started a bit late there. This is unique. We haven't had this before in a pregame situation. Splash Brothers will both be speaking at Oracle right now. It is Game 6 tomorrow. Raptors up 3-2. Following the two of them, the Raptors will speak. Here is Clay and Steph.
Hey guys, Trista Crick, USA Today. I would love to hear from both of you guys whether you actually think momentum is real, and if so, does it carry over from game to game, in your opinion and your experience?
It's definitely a real thing. It's just a matter, can you capitalize on it, once the next game starts and lock in and focus on details and kind of see the adjustments the other team is going to make, especially in the playoff series, because that happens. They watch film, try to tinker a little bit, but momentum and just confidence in terms of what we're trying to accomplish every possession, every quarter in order to win the game. It's definitely a real thing.
Mark on the left side.
It is for Steph and Clay. Mark Medina, Bay Area News Group. What do you expect the emotions will be like tomorrow knowing Kevin's out and final game at Oracle?
I expect us to obviously come out and play as hard as we can. We're not even thinking about the future. We're just thinking about enjoying this last show at Oracle we're about to give our fans. Then I expect our fans to be the loudest they've ever been, especially in the name of Kevin and, bringing his type of spirit he would bring to the fight and the competitiveness. I know our fans will do that because we deserve it, but more importantly, Kevin does for what he gave this team, this organization. There wouldn't be banners if it wasn't for his presence, so we expect our crowd to be loud for him.
Mark over here on the left.
For both of you guys, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. I know you're trying to take something from him right now, but during this long series on this stage, what has impressed or blown you away most about Kawhi Leonard?
I mean, he's a gamer. He's shown that he's a Finals MVP back in San Antonio Spurs days for a reason, and he just makes winning plays, and he's obviously expanded his game since then and has shown offensively how dynamic he is. He requires attention at all times, so even really good defense, sometimes he finds a way, but for us, it's just playing the long game, understanding he might have great numbers and whatnot. It's just a matter, can we get the stops that matter? Can we win? Can we win the game? Any way that it takes, and he's just a competitor, and so we respect that for sure. And he's shown that again this entire playoff run that they've had.
Melissa Rowland, The Guardian. Kevin Durant Instagram that his soul was hurting after last game. Have you guys had a chance to check in with him? How's he doing? How are you guys doing? And how much are you guys going to be playing for him come tomorrow?
I mean, this first 24 hours is not much you can say in terms of him going through the process, figuring out how the extent of the injury and what the roadmap's going to look like coming back. But I don't think much needs to be said about the motivation that we have or are going to have tomorrow. Like Clay said, to protect our home court, feed off our crowd's energy, play for K, and try to keep our season alive. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can kind of tap into for energy tomorrow. We'll be ready.
Michael in the center.
Michael Grange from Sportsnet. This would be for either of you guys. Coming out of that timeout in Game 5, you each hit huge shots. It's nothing new for either of you in terms of hitting shots in big moments. Did you feel that coming on? Did you think that you guys were about to do something pretty special? And just in the bigger picture, what's it feel like to be stepping into shots like that really matter?
I don't think we anticipated that to happen. We just kind of go out there and play. We're very in tune with each other, being that we've played with each other for years. So when we hit the open man, like Steph doesn't stop moving. That's how he got that curl three. Same with me. Draymond sacrificed his body, set a great screen. So it just comes down to having the chemistry we do with the team and just playing that ball movement type of basketball. And then I'm very on the defensive end, I think, is where we won that game. Just being able, just Draymond and Andre making huge reads to, all-world defenders. And then as far as stepping into those shots, we practice those every single day. So, and I know Steph's been doing it for 10 years with this organization, and me 8. So we know what it's like to take those, and we can live with the make or miss. It's just what it comes down to.
Dan, towards the middle.
Guys, also for either of you, Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. Obviously, Kevin won't play the rest of this year, so that means the Death lineup or the Hamptons 5 lineup won't be out there. How important of a tool has that been for you guys since he's gotten here? And what do you think sort of the lasting legacy of that lineup and the way that kind of changed the way teams played? What do you think that'll be?
I don't know much about the second part of that question, but just in terms of when we're healthy and we have all those 5 guys out there, the chemistry is solid because we don't take over each other's spots on the floor, and we all bring something different to the table. And we work off each other really well. There's a trust factor and just a rhythm to it on both ends of the floor. And I think we all just enjoy the pace that we can play with and the speed that we can show. So, it's just one of those things that when you see those 5 guys out there, something good's about to happen. And really you don't know where it's going to come from too. That's the best part about it, and we all enjoy each other's successes. So, it's a great lineup, obviously. I don't know the lasting legacy or whatever. Hopefully there's still more of that to come.
Over on the far right.
Josh Peter with USA Today. Steph, there's some video online showing your parents getting heckled pretty bad outside the team hotel in Toronto. In light of what happened with Aisha, the fan getting arrested for the vulgar comments and some of the aggressive fan behavior, what do you make of what's happened?
I think in terms of being in the finals 5 years in a row and being on the stage, it's hard to avoid those interactions with fans that want to kind of impose or make their imprint on the series somehow, some way, especially with social media these days. So I think it's kind of stupid, to be honest, in terms of people camping outside our hotel just to yell expletives at either us or our family members or whatever the case is. But we handle all that stuff with class and try to ignore it the best we can. And if they get something out of it, so be it. But it doesn't affect us at all in terms of what we're trying to do and how we carry ourselves, us as team, as players, and people that represent us and our families as well.
And in the front.
Ann Kelly in San Francisco Chronicle. For both you guys, you're elite athletes, and there's a lot of talk right now about who's to blame for what happened to Kevin, if the organization pressured him, if he felt pressure from his teammates. I'm just wondering if, Clay, you've recently been injured, Steph, you've been injured in the past. What's your feeling about that kind of conversation about the blame game?
I mean, everybody has great 20/20 hindsight, and it's 24 hours in a day, and there's a lot of different takes you can have on a situation like that. In our cases, and as well as Kay, and knowing him as a person and behind the scenes, we all want to play basketball. Like, if we have an opportunity to play or a chance to play, we want to play, and that's just how it is as competitors, and especially at this stage. So I trust our medical staff, and know Bob Myers has our best interest in terms of not just what we can do in this series, but long term and our overall health. So you can see how hard he took it, talking to you guys after the game, and that's really genuine and authentic. So you can waste time talking about the what ifs and this and that. Injuries are tough, and they suck, and they're a part of our game, and they're going to continue to be a part of our game. But everybody, putting their collective, brains together to make the, sound, smart decisions, and you kind of just live with that because that's it's what's a part of our game.
I agree with Steph.
Scott, and then towards the back.
Scott Ostler, San Francisco Chronicle. For both you guys, the Splash Brothers, is that just a corny nickname, or is there something more to that? And also, had Kevin kind of achieved full status in that brotherhood or not?
I guess he didn't win enough Finals MVPs too. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he is above and beyond a Splash Brother with his ability. I don't think me and Steph, we could practice as many jump shots as we want. We still can't rise up and shoot over any man on this earth. So I don't think we need to include him in the Splash Bros to validate his talent and his skill, because it's pretty obvious to the human eye how great of an athlete he is.
Clay's just stingy. He wants that nickname for ourselves. He's not going to be giving that out to anybody.
Last one towards the back.
Jet Lu from the World Journal. Both of you guys, after Kevin's injury, his mother, mentioned the people who question him don't know him. He has a heart of true warrior. In your mind, what kind of person is KD? Why do so many people question him?
That's just the nature of the game these days. It happens to the greatest athletes to ever play. Every athlete at his level has gone through it, whether it's been Kevin, Muhammad Ali, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, who's a baseball players, Wayne Gretzky. They've all been questioned, especially in this day and age with the media and the 24-hour news cycle. There's going to be talking heads talking about his game and whatnot. That just comes with the territory. But we know who he is. We've won championship with him. I've played in international games with him. I've seen him every day in the gym. You don't need to question someone's heart or desire to play when you see their daily work and their resume. This man's won every accolade there is. So for these people to say that, it's really just irresponsible and stupid, because this man's been a basketball prodigy since he was 15, and his skill level is not attained unless you put the work in.
Thanks, guys.
So that was Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Apparently corny nickname. Did not realize this. I've kind of always liked it. But they doing a dual podium ahead of Game 6. Now, we've been waiting to get official word on Kevin Durant phase. And while they were speaking, only about a minute after Steve Kerr said that there wasn't an update just yet, Kevin Durant actually posted himself on Instagram to talk about what he's been going through.
And we have his Instagram post up here right now. He let everybody know, what's good? I wanted to update you all. I did rupture my Achilles. Surgery was today, and it was a success. Easy money. My road back starts now. I got my family and my loved ones by my side. We truly appreciate all the messages and support people have sent our way. Like I said Monday, I'm hurting deeply, but I'm okay. Basketball is my biggest love. I wanted to be out there that night because that's what I do. I wanted to help my teammates on our quest for the three-peat. If we can go off it, guys, just for 1 second, come back here, because I just want to talk about very quickly what they said out there, and they were talking, Clay and Steph, about, you can't diminish anything this guy's done. He's won every accolade. He's done everything. Clay even said the banners that are in Oracle are not up there if not for Kevin Durant. That's about as high as praise you can give a guy that many deemed and many felt took the easy way out by joining the Warriors. Many felt these Warriors didn't respect him as much. We heard the Draymond stuff earlier this year with Kevin Durant. We don't need you, but whether they need him or not is not even the point. They love this guy, and they're going to miss him just as a teammate and as a brother out there.
Well, they talked about his ability to spot up and shoot with the best of them. There's been a lot of praise, and it's deserved praise, and this has put a dark cloud over this series, unfortunately, because the way that it ended. Now we appreciate that you're all following along while we're watching YouTube. I would like to say a lot of you apparently are doctors. I didn't know we had this many doctors joining in on the chat. We're trying to remind us of the connections. The foot bone connects to the knee bone, yada yada.
Thank you. We all did the song in grade school.
Yeah, we're good.
We can go back, guys, to my computer if you want. It's board yesterday that was used in Sportsnet Central highlighting notable Achilles injuries in the days between games. Demarcus Cousins, the most recent player, he actually spoke moments ago about his Achilles injury. We'll get to him in a second. He missed nearly a full year, 357 days. Rudy Gay missed almost. Everybody is over 230 days missed of basketball activity. You imagine Kevin Durant will fall in that same line. It's going to be nearly a year before we see him on the basketball court again, which is sad. Which is really sad. It's just sad.
Which is why this entire conversation feels bigger, because this is the scope of his career going into free agency and where we'll see him go. But Boogie did speak to both Kevin's injury and, of course, he, as a fellow teammate, he's suffered a similar one. So he obviously speaks from experience. We'll go to that now.
Demarcus, without KD, how do you feel your role has changed or will change for Game 6?
I'm not really sure, but I just make sure I'm ready when my name's called upon.
Are you at 100%?
I'm healthy enough to play.
Demarcus, after Game 5, you said that some people don't view basketball players as human beings. How do you still come out and play in front of these people and have to reckon with that?
Same way I've done my entire career. This didn't just happen. Like, it's been an ongoing situation. So I approach it the same way I always approach it. Well, it'll be an emotional night regardless. Last game in Oracle, so I'm sure the fans will be, fully engaged, and it's gonna be a lot of emotions and a lot of passion in the building. So it's gonna be an epic night for sure. Just coming out playing the right way, keeping the goal in mind, which is winning the game, whatever it takes to win the game, and the rest will handle itself. It's been ups and downs this entire playoff run. So, obviously we all feel for K. We feel for, Clay went through it, I went through it, Loon's gone through it, Dre's gone through it. It's been a lot of ups and downs, like I said. So it sucks to lose, key pieces to the team, but, we just got to find a way to, grind through it and, make something happen.
How do you think you have played in the finals so far?
I leave that to y'all. This team is together regardless, and obviously we got one more thing to kind of motivate us. Obviously we want to come out and try to win this thing for K as well. So I guess you can say it's another added motivation. That's pretty weird. It's been pretty weird. It's usually tougher to win on the road, but and usually you kind of play better at home. But that's not really been the case for either team. So hopefully we change that tomorrow.
What does that say that the fact that the road teams have done so well in this finals? What does it say about the two teams? Just that you guys can just block out the crowd noise, or that's pretty unusual, isn't it?
Usually kind of lean on one another more. Just psychology. Like, from a mental aspect, you kind of lean on each other more, and I don't know. It's just it's a weird situation. It's not really an answer for it, but you know, mentally, you definitely lean on each other more on the road. So that's probably the best way for me to put it.
Have you had any contact with KD today or yesterday?
Yeah, I talked to K.
What did he say?
We spoke.
You spoke about the rehab process, maybe something that you endured yourself in that period?
It's nowhere near close for that. Like, you know, we spoke. You give him his space. You let him go through his ups and downs of emotions, and obviously you give him his space. And then I feel like I reach out when it's the right time, or let him reach out when he feels it's the right time. So. It's a tough process, just straight up. So nobody will really understand that type of an injury unless you go through it yourself. So it's tough. It's tough. It's more mental than anything, for sure. It's more mental than anything.
Demarcus, what does it say about this team's mental strength that you've had so many injuries and so many guys go down, that you are still very much in this and have a chance to push this to a Game 7 here at home?
This team is full of fight, and you know, no matter what kind of, you know, type of adversity hits this team, we find a way to try to fight through. So that's all we can do.
Demarcus, what would you say to the Warriors fans who have been here in Oakland for years and years and supporting this team? Now that this is the last game here, they're going to be moving to San Francisco. Some of these fans may not make that trip, may not be able to afford it, I suppose. What do you say to those fans?
I mean, we appreciate you through thick and thin, and I mean, hopefully the love and support continues. I can't really say anything about being able to afford it. That's not really my lane, but you know, you appreciate it.
Marcus, any concern just how you guys be able to internalize this loss of KD come in tomorrow?
Is it a concern? It's not a concern. Lock in even more. We understand the void we have to fill. The next guy has to step up, which has been done, you know, numerous times throughout this playoff run. So we expect the same thing.
When you see that, is it just impossible for you to not come in under normal circumstances?
I walked in and saw K. I saw the emotion in his face. I know the feeling. I was the same exact way. It's unfortunate, man. It's a very unfortunate situation.
There was a foul call on a movie screen at the end of game 5. Can you describe what happened and how difficult it is to set screens for Curry and Thompson in that situation?
I mean, I stood there to set a screen. They saw something. They called it. Well, like, how hard is it to set a screen? It's not.
Demarcus,
they've been reduced to some of the games for the West Side this summer. Is there a part of Durant?
Probably not this year. I got a lot of catching up to do this summer, so that'll be my main focus. Is that so? Yeah, probably not this summer.
Last couple of questions. Demarcus, in the last game, obviously you had such a great impact. How difficult is that to do with that next man kind of mentality when you see that?
That's a part of it. Stay ready, and you know, like I said, whenever your name's called upon, just be ready to step up and play. That's all you can do. I'm pleased with the win. That's all that matters at this point.
Demarcus, what makes Kauai such a beast out there?
He's a great player. Period.
How can you get in his head if possible?
I don't know.
Demarcus, so many of you guys spoke after the game about uniting around Kevin. How can you use that to motivate you guys even a little bit more to complete your goal?
I kind of just spoke on that. Obviously, we have a goal in mind, which is, you know, winning a championship. So that's motivation enough. But on top of all the other things that we've kind of faced throughout this playoff run, that's just another thing we can use as motivation. And obviously, we want to, you know, win this championship for K as well. So added motivation.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Demarcus.
All right, welcome back. That was Demarcus Cousins, who himself suffered an Achilles injury that kept him out for 357 days. You can take my monitor, guys, if you want. We can just confirm the news again. Kevin Durant saying it himself after the report. A ruptured Achilles, had surgery today. Easy money, easy money.
Yeah, it was what everyone feared. Of course, I was saying yesterday there should be an NSFW on that slow-mo replay of Durant's leg because it's such a grisly, obvious pop that looked Achilles-like. We were waiting for official word, and obviously Kerr was pretty tight-lipped about it. We both were just saying in the break that we felt like maybe it was because he wanted Kevin to say it himself.
Yep.
So he did.
And he did. And so that is what it is. We see you in the comments. Boogie always looks like he's about to cry. Thank you, Kinch McCoy. Golden State wins Game 6. Raptors win Game 7. That's for Maine Dalier. Evan says Raps should have won 4-0. G-State is lucky. Yeah. Kawhi dropping 40 next game, says Brandon C. Well, we'll see about that as well. The Warriors clearly motivated, as they say as well, to kind of go and do their thing and obviously bring this back to Toronto.
Now, one thing we've been talking about is how the Kevin Durant storyline eating everything else up alive to the point that even with the U.S. Open getting ready this week, Tiger Woods had a comment on Kevin Durant's injury.
You see it on his face, how solemn his face went. I mean, he knows it. When things pop, you just know. And I've been there. And I've had it to my own Achilles. I've had it to my own back. I know what it feels like. It's an awful feeling, and there's no one can help you. If he popped it, then that's 6 to 9 months of rehabbing. That's what people don't see. All those long hours that really do suck. And why do we do it? Because we're competitors. You know, as athletes, our job is to make the human body do something it was never meant to do, and to do it efficiently and better than anyone else who's doing it at the same time. Well, things sometimes go awry, and we saw it last night with Kevin.
All right, that was Tiger Woods, who had a very similar bunch of injuries and knows the mental part of that as well.
Yep.
Probably put a wrap on the KD stuff right now with Nick Nurse hitting the podium. We'll talk about the Raptors stuff after he's done speaking. Nurse, Kawhi, Kyle Lowry, they are expected to speak there. Other players are expected to speak on side courts. Draymond Green spoke as well. We'll get you to him a little later. Here is, however, Raptors head coach Nick Nurse.
Hey, Nick. Eric Corrine, The Athletic. I know after the game you said 6 points, final 3 minutes, really not that much. Regardless, it's, you know, getting close to clinching at that point. Do you address that in the entirety to your team, or you just go through individually the plays, the mistakes, and just try to get better?
Well, we're just addressing the things we can get better at, and you know, certainly some of that segment were some things we under our control that we could have done better, and that's really all we're focusing on, Eric. It's just like. You know, you watch the game and you pull out the most learning experiences you can, you know, about 20 to 25 on defense and 18 to 22 on offense, and then a good segment, maybe 15 or so on special teams, and just go through them like any game.
Here in the front.
Hey, Coach. Oh, okay. Wasn't me this time. Hey, Coach.
Stay hot, though. Stay consistent. Stay hot.
USA Today Sports. I wanted to get your opinion. Do you think momentum is real? And if so, do you think that a timeout could potentially stop momentum? on either side?
Now that is a loaded question, I think, isn't it? Oh my God. Momentum is definitely real in everything in life, right? From the moment you get up, to a basketball game moment, no doubt about it. Sometimes timeouts stop them, sometimes they don't. Sometimes not taking one stops it, and sometimes it doesn't. And that's kind of the world we live in on the basketball court. And you take them, and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you do. Deep thoughts.
Tim in the back.
Another deep thought-provoking question, I'm
All
sure. Nick.
right.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. Steph and Clay, I think, what was it, 27 threes between the two of them that they got off in Game 5, and they had 42 as a team or something like that. Obviously, that's who they are. I mean, maybe not to that extreme, but they're going to shoot a bunch of them because they're going to shoot a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Are there things you can do to – I mean, they can choose whether they're going to put the ball on the floor or not. Are there things you can do, though, to run them off the three-point line, even two elite guys like that, and get that under 27 attempts? Are there things you can force them into doing?
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't want to give up that many to those guys, right? I think, you got to guard them. You got to find them in transition. They get a good chunk of them in that. There was a bunch of loose ball ones too, but still, that's really no excuse. We got to come up with a solution for that. They had two in the first quarter, I think, where we stole the ball and we're heading the other way, and then they kind of ended up with a loose ball and kicked it out to them wide open. But still, we got to figure out a way to control those two. There's transition, there's pin downs. They're excellent at pushing off to create space. Their screens are long, wide, and moving. That they're coming around a lot. So I mean, you got to work doubly, triply hard sometimes. You got to absorb contact at the start. You got to absorb contact coming off the screen. Sometimes you put two on the ball, right, on the ball screens. There's lots of stuff going on out there.
Mark over here in the third row.
But we do need to do better.
Nick, Mark Schwartz, ESPN.
Hi, Mark.
Watching Kauai operate the last month, you get the impression that he's just so cold-blooded. What makes him that way, and what's it like to witness it and be part of it?
Well, I don't know what makes him that way. Probably, again, not basketball-related things. Probably the way he was raised or the environment he grew up in, right? He's certainly tough, strong, and composed. And it's just, again, it continues to be from the first preseason game to now, it continues to be interesting to just watch this guy do what he does. It's like, without a doubt, the best thing about this thing is that somehow I wound up on the sideline getting to watch this guy play up close, and it's really cool.
Dan?
Nick, Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. Now that Kevin is out of this series, we know we won't see sort of the death lineup or whatever nickname you want to give sort of the Draymond at center. We won't see that again this year, maybe not ever again. What do you think that lineup's impact is on the game in terms of the move towards positionless basketball and how much, I don't know if easier is the right word, but it is to prepare for not having to face that lineup?
Well, their impact on it, I think, goes back, a little bit to all the switching that they just pretty much switch everything. And that, that really, again, that really wasn't that common to be able to come out and just switch every time somebody, set a ball screen or a down screen or a DHO or whatever screen and just switch and keep every player in front of you, and not really have to ever put two on the ball because they're, all pretty good defenders. So I think that's the biggest impact it probably had on the game. I think a lot more teams do a lot more switching since they started doing that. And again, we can only prepare for the guys that are out there and what they're going to do. We don't know that they can't still find a lineup with Draymond at the 5, right? We just got to kind of prepare for all possibilities.
Michael towards the center.
Nick, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. That game 5, did that loss hit you any harder just because of how close, the goal was in sight? And you mentioned after the game the decision around the timeout with 3 minutes and talking of momentum and stuff. Did you revisit that at all? And what did you take away from it?
Did it hit me any harder? Not really. They all hit you hard, right? Listen, I'm like anybody that was there and understands the outcome of that one changes things a little bit. But I'll say this: I'm absolutely thrilled to be coaching in another finals game. This is awesome, right? Yeah, I mean, Michael, like all these things, when you look back on them, every single thing you do, if it doesn't turn out right, you wish you would have called another play or had somebody else in or got somebody else a shot or et cetera. I think if you remove that from it and you watch it, we ran a great play out of the timeout where Gasol absolutely got clobbered for a no call. Kyle had a wide open 3 with minute 40 to go. I mean, we ran some nice stuff and got exactly what we wanted, right? I'm not sure that timeout had anything to do with about 14 plays after that. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't.
Last 2 questions. Steve in the back and then over here in the middle.
Nick, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun. This has been a highly unusual series in that the road team has won the last 4 games, and if you win tomorrow, it'll be 5 in a row. Why has the road team had so much success in this series?
Well, for some reason, I think both teams are really good road teams and have been all season. That's one thing. Two really tough-minded teams playing, and you got to be a little more tough-minded, on the road. And I think, I think a lot of those games probably could have won either way, but the momentum changed, and whoever ended up winning them.
Last one in the third row.
Hi, Julie Jag with the Santa Cruz Sentinel. I'm going to ask you a little bit about. Spent the morning talking to Ryan Atkinson, who you know from your days back
Santa
at RGV.
Cruz, man.
Yeah,
Love it.
What was it like working with him? And then also, did you feel like that being in RGV in the finals over Santa Cruz, then over the Warriors, was any kind of a harbinger for this series? And also, what did you learn from the G League that prepared you for the finals here?
Okay, first of all, Ryan is a great dude. Loved every day with him. Right, he was a super hard worker, and he started kind of as an intern for us at RGV, but he always wanted to get into the management side of things. So I remember having a lot of meetings with him about player personnel in my office. But a really good worker who's climbing his way up the ladder. Really enjoyed the series, Rio Grande Valley versus Santa Cruz. My current assistant coach, Nate Bjorkren, who was my assistant coach for 4 years at the Iowa Energy, was the head coach at Santa Cruz, one of my closest friends, so that was fun to go against him and beat him. It was really fun. What else? There was a packed house in Santa Cruz that night. It was jumping. It was jumping. It was good. And I think that was the first day. The day we played Santa Cruz was the first time I got a call from the Raptors that morning about possibly coming up to talk some offense with them. So remember the day well. Yep, good day.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, Nick Nurse doesn't seem like a guy who's overly stressed about the fact his team lost that game in, I wouldn't say devastating fashion, but that they lost it, period, despite having a lead. And he was asked again about the timeout that can't stop being talked about despite nobody really knowing the team as well as the guy talking about it. He said, I don't think the timeout with 3 minutes left impacted the play 14 plays later. Or maybe it did, he said in this kind of coy Nick Nurse kind of voice.
Deep
but no.
thoughts is what I think he said. Right?
Nick has always been about perspective. He said, hey, look, I'm thrilled that I get to coach another NBA Finals game and get a chance to right the wrongs from the last one, right? And again, there's a young, Raptors head coach that has been here for the very first time as we see Kyle Lowry walking in. And so as a rookie, you're probably going to make some mistakes, and he's pushed all the right buttons so far in the postseason.
Hindsight is always 20/20 on these instances. But for now, we're going to head to Kyle Lowry, who's taken the podium to speak ahead of Game 6.
Take questions for Kyle. Mark, first question here on 2.
Kyle, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. For lack of a better word, All I can think of when I think of Kawhi Leonard is this guy's a beast. Discuss.
It's a good one. I mean, I think I think he's been able to show his full repertoire this whole season, and the playoffs has kind of made it even more of a bigger stage. And through the regular season, he's had big games like this before, but he hasn't played the minutes. So you give him more minutes, you give him more shots, you give him more touches, you give him more time to be on the floor. I think he's the best two-way basketball player in the NBA. And he just goes. And I've seen some stuff from him this year that just you say wow. I mean, you say wow, and you appreciate the work that he's put in. He works extremely hard at his game and works extremely hard on his body, and he loves this basketball thing, loves it.
What are some of the things that made you say wow?
Just being able to. I didn't know he was such a great shooter. I didn't know he was such a great. He's this year alone. You say wow because he's gotten even better of a playmaker, right? Early in the year, but then throughout the season he's become a better playmaker. And he'll have games where 12 rebounds, 15 rebounds. I think it was one game. I don't know if it was a play. I don't know what it was. He was like 30 and 15 rebounds, something like that. I mean, you just say, God, Jesus, that's a crazy stat line for a guy like that. I mean, he just does it on both ends.
Tim in the back left.
Kyle, Tim Reynolds with the AP. You're still in control of the series. You're still up 3-2. You still have 2 more chances at this thing. What has the mood been like the last 48 hours, and how quickly did it take, or how long did it take to get over that you were right there, that they had a shot of it the other night?
Stay in the moment. We didn't finish the game out. We all sat back. We watched the film today. I got out here, got better. Now we're going to go out here and get a little practice in, talk to you guys, and prepare for the next game. We understand that the moment is the moment, but we still staying in it. And we're not too up, we're not too down. We're just one game. Hey, we lost it. Now we got to move on to the next one.
Over on the far right.
Alvaro Martini, ESPN. Road teams are 4-1 in the finals. When you look at the splits for both Toronto and Golden State, they're shooting better overall. They're markedly shooting better from 3, and they have more assists on the road than at home. Is that just the way things happen? Is there anything behind it you can explain to us?
We've got 2 really good teams, 2 really good basketball groups, poised groups. For us, we just go out there and we try to play our game the same way, no matter home or on the road. We understand on the road we got to be even more better because of the situation. But for us, as a group, we just go in there and we stay focused and stay locked in on that moment of being in the road and being together.
Over in the 4th row in the center, the microphone.
Guido Padilla, Filtro, the show. Kyle, I want you to talk about the mental part of the game, because there's a lot of talk about strategies from back and forth. But mentally, especially when the moments switch sometimes, especially in the Game 5 that you guys had the opportunity to win at home, and then that switch plus the KD brings a little spirit to the Golden State Warriors. Can you talk about how you prepare mentally to overcome the spirit of the Warriors?
We just go out there and do our job. We're a professional basketball team. We've been in the same situation. We've been the same team all year. We don't get too up. We don't get too down. We live in the moment. We understand that today is today, and tomorrow will be another, test for our group. We'll be in a row. We'll be against a team, that'll be ready to go. But, we'll be ready to play too.
Robert, next row back.
Robert Littell, BSO. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to win a championship, but how satisfying would it be to be able to win a championship and close down their building at the same time?
Yeah, get there when you get there. Right now, we're just focusing on how we continue to get better. Tomorrow will be a tough task, and we'll be ready to go. We'll be ready to play basketball. 48 minutes on that hardwood, and go out there and do our jobs and play extremely hard.
Next question over here on the aisle.
Sandeep Chanak with Yahoo Sports. Kyle, the last game, Steph and Clay got up combined 27 threes. A lot of them were open looks, too. I think they made about 12. What can you guys do tomorrow night to make sure it's more difficult for them?
Stay locked in. I think they got loose last game, and those guys are going to get off shots. They're going to get up their attempts. They're going to make shots, but you got to make them a little bit tougher sometimes. But we had some loose ball. They got a couple of loose ball offensive rebounds, transition breakdowns. Listen, you're not going to stop them from shooting threes, but you can make them a little bit tougher and try to contest them better. But, it's a lot of things that we learned from that film that we feel like we could do a better job of.
Towards the center.
Kyle Palantunas, ESPN Brazil. You recently spoke to the chemistry of the team and how Nick Nurse maybe yelled at you guys maybe twice all year. Have you had a coach quite like him with that calmness? And what do you think that's done for the team?
I have. Rick Adelman. Very similar. Never yelled, really, never really talked. Great coach. I think what Nick has done is kind of, keep the mentality of our team the same, right? He doesn't get too up, he doesn't get too down. He yelled at us literally, I think, twice this year. That kind of just attests to, his confidence in who he is as a coach, who we are as a team, how he believes in us. And just go out there and, we are all grown men. And, he talked to us as grown men, and we, do our jobs and come in and work, and we be ready to go.
Michael towards the center.
Kyle, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. When you're guarding Clay or Steph, or getting in an action where you're going to have to pick up Clay or Steph down the stretch, like in Game 5, is the approach a little different because it's them? Like, how much more of an awareness do you have to take because of the guys who have the ball?
It's all game. It ain't just down the stretch. You got to be aware when they're on the floor. You got to be aware of them. I mean, they're probably two of the top, whatever, all-time shooters in the game of basketball. So when they step on the floor, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, you got to be aware of them at all times.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
So that was Kyle Lowry at the podium, and as he said, when Clay and Steph are on the floor, it does not matter what quarter, you got to pay attention to the Splash Bros, who will do damage, as we saw in Game 5 from the perimeter.
We're waiting for Kawhi Leonard. He's expected to speak next. Kyle was asked about Kawhi Leonard. He called him flatly the best two-way player in the NBA. He just goes. That's kind of the thing we've learned about Kawhi as well. He has one focus, and that is to win basketball games. And I imagine because he didn't win the last one, he'd be pretty upset and find a way to make sure he wins the next one as well.
We still feel like he's a major enigma even after a full season.
Yeah.
But I guess the one thing I've taken away, I'd be interested what you have, Faze, of what Kawhi is or the type of person he is. I'm blown away at his ability to stay so focused and in the pocket, because the level of distractions and noise at this stage is a whole other level, and he really truly never wavers. He always stays right there.
No social media. It doesn't
Nothing.
really consume the news like other players do. He's been here before.
Even on the court.
Right.
It's just so impressive, because anyone's been in a scenario where you're easily distracted, and for him to keep this composure the whole way, and that sort of thing, as we said, is translating to the rest of the team.
Exactly, and the Raptors have talked about how his demeanor, his presence, his almost in a different way leadership, through silence and through just effective use of his talking instead of talking all the time, has kind of translated on them as well. So we'll see what he has to say ahead of, what could be the last game of the series tomorrow. It is Game 6. The Raptors are up 3-2. We should let you know that we'll be doing Instagram Live pregame around 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so join us then. We see you in the comments, obviously, here on YouTube. We want you in the comments on Instagram and during pregame and halftime. Postgame, win or lose, Danielle, we will be here with a postgame show for you, hopefully one worthy and with celebration of the Raptors winning their first ever NBA championship. So tune in to Sportsnet's YouTube page or sportsnet.ca for that. We will be bringing you live coverage of the celebration or of the Game 6 loss.
Either way, we'll also have tons of reaction, which I think is such an exciting part after of the kind of tweets and Instagram posts that come out of something as major as this. And to me, it can only go up, because the Kevin Durant injury really put a bit of a bummer on the end of Game 5 in a way that felt like no one really won out of that game. So, we're looking forward to that. So please join us. Get your questions in all day. I know the post usually goes up on Instagram, the Sportsnet Instagram page, pretty early to ask you for your questions and comments. So get them on there, and it looks like
Speaking
Kauai
of questions
has arrived.
and comments, Kauai will be taking some questions and hopefully giving some comments as well. Here is Kawhi Leonard to wrap up the formal media availabilities. Again, we do have other Raptors that have spoken off court that we will get you to We're going to try to get some of the Warriors as well. Right now, it's time for the Claw, Kawhi Leonard.
Kauai, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. When did you first understand about yourself that you were kind of built for a moment like this to lead a team like this at the highest level against the greatest competition?
I don't know. I mean, it really just doesn't come to my head. It's just about going through a season, just being able to, be the best player on your team or one of the best players, and once you keep, going, reaching, the steps and getting to the next round of the playoffs or just making it to the playoffs. I guess, my mindset is just to keep playing and, just wanting to win throughout the season. That's you coming in the playoffs with the same mindset. Want to win. I want to win today's game. I want to win today's game. And I feel like, just having that carryover pretty much helps me or helps your team or players that get in this position.
Kauai on your right, third row.
Tom Haverster, NBC Sports. Kauai, you said if you weren't playing basketball, you would be doing something with math, maybe business. I'm wondering if you had a favorite subject in math growing up, and if you had a teacher that especially meant a lot to you growing up and honing that.
No, I don't. I can't remember really any teachers' names. Just really like math class more than any of my other classes, than like English or history and things like that. I guess it just made more sense to me to use in everyday life.
Right here. Sandeep Chanak with Yahoo Sports. Kauai, before you were in here, Kyle was in here, and he said that you're the best two-way player in the league right now. He also went on to say that, until you got to Toronto, he didn't know how good of a shooter you were, and that, when he saw you putting up these monster stat lines throughout the season, it really, wowed him. So what is it like for you to hear him say that?
I mean, it's great, to have teammates on your team that have confidence in you, and it helps you, gives you an extra drive, an extra push to be better. And, when you play or don't play with someone, you can see how good or, not good they are, once you're on their team. And, I guess he's seeing it now.
Fourth row on the right, Davide.
Kauai, Davide Chinellato, Gazzetta Italy. What do you think is the most important lesson your team has to learn from Game 5?
Just from any other game, just look at our mistakes, try not to make them again, and go out there in the next game and, just play with each other, have one focus and, one goal, and, try to win it out.
Gary on the left side in the aisle over here.
Kauai, Gary Walsh from Boston Globe. You've been through some tragedy, some hardships growing up. You just kept moving on, and how has what you've gone through in the past, losing your dad, things like that, motivated you to be here today, to be one of the top players in the NBA? And do you think of those times a lot?
Growing once it happened, I thought about it a lot. But as I get older, I just pretty much really stopped thinking about it. But I think it just gave me a sense of feel that life and basketball are two different things, and just really enjoy your time and moments. And, like I always say, just this is basketball, just go out there and have fun. These are going to be the best years of my life playing this game. And, being 27 is this young, you shouldn't be stressing in life, about things that really don't matter. As long as your family's healthy, you're able to see the people that you love, and you're able to, walk and run, you're not injured. So all those things are accountable. Go out here, lay it all out on the floor, do the best job I could possibly do, and, try to win.
Robert, fifth row on the right.
Kauai, Robert Littell, BSO. You talked a little bit after Game 5 about the mental aspect of coming back from an injury. We just found out that Kevin Durant did indeed rupture his Achilles, and he was speaking about that. Can you just expand a little bit about the mental part of, dealing with a serious injury, and what piece of advice would you like to give to Kevin Durant as he goes through that journey?
Just from my own experience, just could talk from, what I've been through. like I said, we work so hard to get to this point, and the games gets taken away from you, especially with leg injuries and things like that. You're not really able to run or do anything, on the floor. So you really just have to change your mindset on things and, try to attack each day of getting better. And, just know that you're going to play again one day. And you want to come back as, the player that you were and, make sure you come back when you feel healthy. You feel good enough that you feel confident enough in yourself to, go back out there on the floor and know that that day will come. And just, like I said, attack each day. That's your assignment, to get back to the thing that you love to do.
Arash, last question over here on the left side.
Kauai, Arash Medeni from Sportsnet. You seem pretty kind of stone-faced, even keel during games. Do you feel down the stretch of them the pressure, the stress, the nerves, whatever you want to call it, in games with everything on the line in the finals?
I mean, definitely. Even before it gets down to the stretch, you feel like you want to play great. You know what I mean? You want to make the next shot or get the next stop. And I don't know, it's just like I said before about going through regular season and the playoffs. It's kind of like, your mind is into that already. You got to carry over from either the first possession to the last possession of you want to get a stop, or a stop or a score. So you really, I don't know, to really say at that time, I feel so much pressure. You really don't. I think it's once your adrenaline is going, it's a lot different than you watching a game. Because your mindset is totally different because you're within that moment and, you're embracing it and enjoying what's going to happen next.
Thank you, Kauai. This concludes the session in here for today. Thank you.
It does not conclude the session in here today, Danielle. Yes, formally, the Warriors and the Raptors have finished speaking. The Warriors, a lot of them asked about Kevin Durant, and the Raptors, their focus ahead of tomorrow's game. Let's reset. Game 6, NBA Finals, goes down tomorrow. The Raptors are up 3-2. Another game where they're just one win away from clinching the NBA championship. Another game where we will be joining you following its conclusion, win or lose from the Raptors' perspective, with a full post-game show. Last game, our post-game show was fascinating with all the Kevin Durant news, the crowd reaction, the Scotiabank, and that being a topic of conversation. I imagine the last game in Oracle, whether the Raptors win there or not, will elicit the same amount of conversation. So if you are looking for somewhere to catch your post-game tomorrow, we are here for you. We've got your back. We've got you covered. It is something that we will be a part of.
Yep.
There's also the Kevin Durant news that we have from today as well. The ruptured Achilles confirmed surgery he has had.
So Steve Kerr was up. Bit of a weird timing.
Just minutes before.
Yeah, the same time as he was saying we have no update. Kevin Durant, I think obviously giving the allowance of his player to post his own news. So Durant posted this photo of himself. If we have it still, do we? Face?
Yeah, I do.
We'll get it for you.
It's right here.
Posted it on his Instagram. He's lying in the hospital bed recovering. And of course, this very long quote assuring everyone that he's good, but he did rupture his Achilles, which brings about the bigger conversation, and this board will show you exactly what we're talking about, is the length of time between games for other NBA players who suffered, including his current teammate Boogie Cousins, who spent 357 days on the shelf. And this is not just a work on it for a little bit and hope to come back. This is a significant injury and will change the landscape of free agency for Kevin Durant coming on forward.
All right, stay here, guys, for a second. I want to point out a couple other things that have been circulating online. Again, the topic of conversation after last game was about the Canadian crowd. Is that Toronto crowd? A lot of them, some of them, I should say, not all of them, not a lot of them, I should just say, some of them cheering the KD injury. There's a sorrykd.com website now. That's not what Canada's about. We got excited. We want to make it up. You click this link, it goes to his charity and his fundraising page right now. A lot of people have jumped on that wagon to show their remorse. Tim and Sid did as well with a $500 contribution yesterday as well.
It's good stuff.
There's also another way to contribute if you really want to. A GoFundMe is out there as well. Nearly 10 grand today. I'm not going to refresh it out of fear of something happening to my computer, but that is there as well. So Canadians, this is the best of Canada. This is the version of Canada that people know, that people have associated this country with, and people probably at the game or not are doing their part to try to show their remorse and regret for what
Yes.
happened from the masses at Scotiabank and in and around bars, etc.
There's been a lot of chatter about it, and it's disappointing, and it's hard to dissect the situation in the best way possible. I think what I'll take from it is I appreciated that Steph Curry said this was never the Toronto I experienced. I grew up here. It's not the Toronto I know. So all of these efforts are only moving things into a positive headspace.
All right. I also should mention there's a lot of Anthony Davis chatter out there. The NBA draft, of course, is a week tomorrow.
Which is bananas because we would never still be talking about the Raptors at this point if the NBA draft is right around the corner.
There are reports that the Celtics and Lakers are heavily engaged in talks right now. The Lakers reportedly making Ingram, Ball, and the number 4 pick available right now. Not Kyle Kuzma, according to other reports. The trade maybe hinges on him, which to me seems a little bit odd. It's Kyle Kuzma. It's okay. New Orleans reportedly wants to see who's available at 4 next week before making that pick. There's a chance maybe RJ Barrett slips there. He's expected to go 3 after Ja Morant, Zion Williamson in reverse order. So there is Anthony Davis chatter. If something breaks right now, we'll be here to talk you through some of that as well. Now, speaking of talking, as we said, we've heard from the main guys at the podium. Other Raptors did speak, including Fred VanVleet, ahead of tomorrow's game. Here is a knocked-up FVV.
What is the most important thing to focus when your opponent is Warriors?
Just try to just stay locked in and you know, be mentally strong and probably just not have any lapses. And you know, those guys are so dangerous that once you slip up and make mistakes, you know, they'll make you pay. So I just gotta stay locked into the game plan and really, you know, perform at a high level, and it takes a lot to beat them, and you got to play really well to get the job done, and you know, we know that going forward.
Fred, what have you found about, like, you've gone through your own kind of shooting struggles up and down this playoffs, and you've made basically the biggest shots of your career to this point. What have you kind of learned about what it takes to make those shots as the pressure escalates, kind of game to game, to places? I mean, you guys have never been to this level of pressure before, right?
Probably just another higher level of focus. I think that I found another step up of just trusting yourself and trusting your shot and not getting swayed by the moment and not changing your technique and not, you know, getting down when you miss a couple or you know, changing anything and don't do anything drastic. Just trust the work, and the work is the only thing that'll stay constant and remain, you know, steady the whole time. And the same form that you shoot with when you practice is the same.
What is the most important thing to focus when your opponent is Warriors?
Just try to just stay locked in and you know, be mentally strong and probably just not have any lapses. And you know, those guys are so dangerous that once you slip up and make mistakes, you know, they'll make you pay. So I just gotta stay locked into the game plan and really, you know, perform at a high level, and it takes a lot to beat them, and you got to play really well to get the job done, and you know, we know that going forward.
Fred, what have you found about, like, you've gone through your own kind of shooting struggles up and down this playoffs, and you've made basically the biggest shots of your career to this point. What have you kind of learned about what it takes to make those shots as the pressure escalates, kind of game to game, to places? I mean, you guys have never been to this level of pressure before, right?
Probably just another higher level of focus. I think that I found another step up of just trusting yourself and trusting your shot and not getting swayed by the moment and not changing your technique and not, you know, getting down when you miss a couple or you know, changing anything and don't do anything drastic. Just trust the work, and the work is the only thing that'll stay constant and remain, you know, steady the whole time. And the same form that you shoot with when you practice is the same one you got to go out there and shoot with, you know, when there's a championship on the line. And just trusting that, and there's another level of, like, mental focus and locked in where you can kind of find that groove and that rhythm, and I think that's helped me.
How's your confidence in this finals on Game 6?
High.
Fred, we're so close last game. How do you bounce back from that?
I just gotta go play another game. You know, it's the finals. It's not a one-game series. It's not the end of the world, you know, when you lose, and it's not the greatest thing when you win. It will be now, obviously, with 3. But trying to get 4 is tough, and we had an opportunity to close them out, and we didn't do that. Give those guys a lot of credit. They made some big plays late, and we just didn't do enough to win. So we got another chance here tomorrow, and we got to go out there and play well and try to close it out.
Do you remember what was going through you when you hit the ball in the final seconds there?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in the gym probably knew Kauai was going to be doubled, no matter where it came from. I kind of knew what was on my left, so when I caught it, Sean closed out to me, and I had Kyle and Mark in versus Draymond. So just didn't do a great job of exploiting that 2-on-1 there. Mark was trying to pin him in, and just couldn't quite get there. So hindsight's 20/20. We could have all done something differently, but if Draymond doesn't get a fingertip on it and Kyle makes that three, then it's the greatest play ever. So you got to understand that. And if we're in that position again, we'll try to execute a little bit better and get off a cleaner look and, learn from it.
In hindsight, should there have been a timeout there?
No, I don't think that matters. I think we whatever play we would have ran or came up with, maybe the spacing could have been better, but whatever plan we would have came up probably would have resulted in the same thing. Kauai getting double teamed, and we would have had to make a play out of it. So it's not rocket science there, and we lost and we didn't make the right plays. So whatever we did was wrong, and if we would have won, it would have been genius not to call a timeout. So I don't try to get caught up in playing revisionist history there.
Fred, can you describe what goes into staying fresh at this time of year as an athlete, the coast-to-coast travel, different time zones, all that?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. It takes a lot of dedication and discipline. And, as much as people see us on the court and playing at a high level, the rest of the 99% of the time is probably dedicated to making sure we're able to perform at a high level. So eating right, drinking right, trying to sleep as much as possible. These two cities are not close by any stretch of imagination. So the flights and just staying hydrated and getting treatment and still trying to find time to get your work in. That's what it takes to be a professional and to play at a high level. So we've been at this thing. I mean, for us, I know like for young guys, I don't have an off season. So this time last year I was probably working out. So to be still playing now is great, and you just got to continue to try to stay fresh and give yourself the best chance to go out there and play at a high level.
So nice we had to start that twice. Fred VanVleet coming at you. Always dropping mad perspective as well. It's what he does. It's what the Raptors have kind of done all day. They're not, kicking themselves or down on their luck because they lost that game. A game that, again, one shot, one block, 2 points makes the difference between losing that game and going to 6 and winning a freaking NBA championship. And so, for us, that might be stressful.
Yes.
They seem to be handling it a lot better than the two of us.
And in the bigger picture, again, the Raptors have been the better team for the majority of this
For
series.
5 games, they've been the better team. This is going to be the first 6-game sweep of the NBA Finals if the Raptors do it. No, I'm kidding. Like, there was a stretch, obviously, in Game 2, the Warriors showed why they were the Warriors, and we know the way things started in Game 5 as well, the Warriors, again, with Kevin Durant. Like, of course.
Going to be easy? No.
Of course they're good. And so, okay, Pascal Siakam is speaking. We're waiting to hear from him. Serge Ibaka has finished speaking. We've got him on deck. Here is Serge ahead of tomorrow's Game 6.
You got too close, man.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even move. I swear.
Okay.
Serge, how quickly were you guys able to put the disappointment in Game 5 by keeping your focus back on here?
We have to. We did that so quick because we know and we believe, we still have a chance, and the good thing about it, we got another opportunity tomorrow to go out there and to play our best basketball.
Especially your impact coming off the bench and sometimes starting as well, especially within this series, has been incredible. I see that the crowd seems to be responding, especially to yourself. What is it that you feel like you're bringing to this team individually?
I just put my mindset on, going out there, try to play my basketball, just try to play my game, and play with confidence, no matter what, with mistake or not, just go out there, play. I think that's it. That's the key.
And mentally, how was the team responding to such a disappointment, especially the last few minutes, and not going the way that you wanted to?
Yeah, we know it's tough. It's tough, but we got no choice to change our mindset and to be ready for tomorrow. Like I say again, the good thing about it, we have another opportunity for tomorrow to go out there to play our best basketball.
Historically, this season you've had a good impact in terms of on this floor. Games 3 and 4 you've won compromisingly, and obviously won in the regular season as well. Does that kind of give you a psychological edge kind of going into this game?
The past is the past, and I always believe, anything is possible, and I believe I can even do better than what I did. So I'm not gonna be here to think about what I did in the past. I'm here to think about what I can do better, for my team tomorrow. So that's what is in my mind right now.
Tomorrow is on everybody's mind. It seems still so far away. Game 6 tomorrow, of course. Raptors up 3-2. Danielle and I have a pregame for you, a halftime for you on Instagram Live, and postgame right here, youtube.ca/Sportsnet to subscribe there, sportsnet.ca as well. So make sure you are on top of every single part of that because we have got some hot fire for you, win or lose.
Always. And I think that we actually have some hot fire straight from the Bay.
Yeah.
That, is it Eric Smith, I believe, was standing by, and he is with, who is he with?
ESPN's Mark Spears.
Mark Spears, that's it.
Mark, is there any way we can explain how the road teams have had such success in this series? I mean, it's very bizarre in the playoffs, let alone in the finals, to see 4 straight wins on the road for each team.
The crowd doesn't play.
Yeah.
I mean, these are 2 great teams. We're not going to forget about the venues because the venues each have been amazing. Have had crazy crowds, very much a love fest for their teams, but ultimately it's what happens on here. The rim it's like the Hoosiers thing. The rim is 10 feet, the court is the same size, the 3-point, it's all the same. So, each game has been its own mini drama in itself, all mutually exclusive. And at this point, I do wonder if where you're playing matters because as Toronto people will see, as Canadians will see tomorrow, it's going to be an emotional place, win or lose, they know this is the last game. You're going to see signs, you're going to see people taking videos. It's going to be very, very memorable. And the horde of Canadians that come to the game will see that. It's going to be an emotional game for a lot of people. But if it goes 7, it's going to be an emotional game for everybody. The weight of the country will be in that arena on Sunday. So that's how I think now the venues kind of change because there's some finality in both games.
There's a lot of ifs in this question I'm about to ask, but if Toronto were to win Game 6, that's 3 straight home losses.
Yeah.
If Golden State takes care of business, holds home court, if they go into a Game 7, it would take beating Toronto at home. 3 straight games overall, but 3 straight games in their building.
Yes.
It's very bizarre again to see this in a championship game.
But this whole series has been bizarre, right?
Yeah. Do you sense momentum for anybody right now?
I mean, your boys are supposed to win, aren't they?
Are they my boys?
No, they're not your boys.
Toronto.
Because I know you're a fair journalist. No, the Raptors are supposed to win. They have home court, right? They have the extra games. They're up 3-1. They're supposed to win. It's supposed to be them, right? I mean, I'm sure people in Canada were crushed last game to do it on your home soil. The first time the Warriors won, they actually did it in Cleveland. I mean, it still meant a lot. Look, I'm sure the party all over Canada would be just fine if they were to win it tomorrow. But if they would have done it there, that would have been pretty special moment for a lot of people. We should. I don't know what to expect, man.
Yeah.
There's too many variables. There's too many people hurt. The stakes are crazy because of this venue, because of your venue, because it's the first time Toronto's been in, because this is the last go around maybe with them with Durant. There's just too many things. Don't bet on this. Whatever you do, don't call Vegas. Don't call your bookie. Don't go on your app. Right, Quinn? Right? Come here real quick, man.
Mark's saying don't bet on this because there's too many variables.
Don't bet on it. There's too many variables.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever Mark says.
Well, I know we spoke the other day in Toronto, Quinn, but when you think about it, we were just talking about how the road team has had unbelievable success in the last 4 games. The home team has not been able to hold court, and that is very bizarre to see in a finals game. And if you guys are able to hold court, last game at Oracle, sending it back to Toronto, it would take beating Toronto 3 straight in their joint. It has been a weird series from that standpoint.
Yeah, but can't dwell on that. can't dwell on what happened game 3, 4. And for them, they're not dwelling on what happened game 2 and 5. We got to protect our home court. We're fighting for our lives, fighting for our season. We're fighting for Oakland, fighting for KD. So that's all the motivation we need.
Let me ask you both then, to leave it at this. You've brought it up, Mark, a couple times before Quinn joined us here. How much does this change things, the fact that it's the last game in a building, but yet this team is still staying in the area? This isn't like, Toronto opening up a new joint a couple of blocks away. This is different.
Team has ever closed the building to win a finals, a road team. So that's an interesting stat, but I'm sure he's got some emotions in this place. And what do you expect this to be like tomorrow for the fans?
It's going to be amazing. And I know they're going to give us all they have because we're going to need it to beat this great team and to get another game in Toronto. So we don't want our season to end. Fans don't want our season to end. So, like I say, that's really all the motivation we need.
And you don't want to close this building out with a
I'll
loss.
give you a little insight, and he knows about this. They got these East Oakland fireworks that y'all haven't seen yet that they don't want to see, but I'm sure you want to see. They have in East Oakland, which is basically where this arena is, they have the best amateur fireworks show in the world that has been on hiatus because they haven't won at home in these finals.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
You trying to get them fireworks started
up. Fireworks one last time. Need them fireworks one last time.
All right, we appreciate the time from both Mark Spears and Quinn Cook. Thanks very much, guys.
So there's some fireworks, I guess, that I don't think Quinn Cook.
Eric Smith didn't get like a cool handshake.
No,
though.
what was up with that?
Quinn, come on, man. He even talked to you in Canada.
Yeah.
Look, from one Mark to another, Marc Gasol just finished speaking as well. I believe we have it ready to go. Yeah, let's get you to Marc Gasol.
Mark, so Monday night was very emotional for both teams.
Yeah.
So how's the mindset right now?
Well, yeah,
now we're like 2 days later.
You go back, you keep it objective as much as possible within knowing that it's, such an emotional time. You try to keep it as objective as possible. You try to control the things you can control, the things that you must do better than you did in game 5, and go and execute.
And nothing seems different from basically the way you guys have been thinking the last couple of days. Everybody's all focused.
It gets a little harder, because you know more of the other team. They know more of you. They're going to do probably more of the things that work for them. Not so much the things that didn't work. It's just kind of the same thing. You just game 6 now.
Mark, what is it about this team that makes them so good at bounce back games? Games.
Even within the game, I thought we did a great job of bouncing back. At the end of the game, we just didn't execute defensively or offensively as good as we should to close it out. But we were down quite a few points. I don't know, 14 points, and it's not a bounce back game. I think within the game, I thought that we did a really good job of staying in the moment, just like we did in the previous games.
But in bounce back, I mean after a loss. So you 2 losses in the Milwaukee series, you guys come back home.
Yeah.
You've done that a number of times throughout this playoff run. What is it about you guys that makes you good in that situation?
I couldn't really tell you what it is. I think it's just our nature as players, because as a team we haven't been together that long. So obviously our instincts as players, I think kind of that's what it promotes, and I think you have a better sense of it than me.
Do you find your roles and responsibilities changing within games and game to game? And is it difficult to adapt all the time?
No.
Yeah.
You just take it as it comes, and you can't expect the game to be played the same way. Obviously not from game to game, but within the game, they're going to make adjustments. You're going to make adjustments. They're going to take something away, open up something else. It's just a matter of how many runs can you withstand and how many runs can you get, and try to make obviously their runs a little shorter and avoid mistakes, especially the ones that we can control, and make our runs a little longer.
Even your role, sometimes you're playing against Draymond, sometimes Boogie, sometimes on the perimeter, sometimes with the ball. Is it fun? Is it challenging?
There's a lot of I think any challenge is fun because it makes you better. Any challenge you face, it's always fun. It gives you a chance to improve. So I think I don't think we understand the meaning of fun the same way. Maybe it's fun after a couple beers, and it's fun at those things. But it's fun too.
But in the game, is it really difficult then, or how would you?
You have to do a lot of reflecting and understanding, and try not to analyze too much. Sometimes you can get caught over analyzing and going too far ahead, and just keep it as simple as possible. Not just because you trigger somebody else's movement, and when you analyze, you tend to take a little second.
Mark, you talked about the fun of challenges.
Yep. Sorry.
You're playing under kind of the highest basketball pressure, or close to it, of your career. I would think or a lot of these guys are, right? Like these are really difficult, big time games. How can a player, like in the biggest moments where you've got to take and make shots to win or lose a game, how do you kind of as a player make those? Like, what in a player do you need to have to perform in that biggest moment in that very specific skill?
Understand. I think it's kind of visualize what's going to happen and what could happen, and try to create space. Have a good rhythm. The same thing that you practice over and over again. And spacing got to be correctly or better for us, and it's just a matter of being on the same page.
But is it easy to ignore that pressure or play within that pressure?
If you're in rhythm, I think it's a lot easier at the end of games to take shots. When you're in rhythm, it doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes left or 2 seconds left. You're in rhythm. You're in rhythm. Obviously, it changes, and you have to do certain things to keep yourself in rhythm. And just always, your mindset always got to be, like you are in rhythm. You might not be, but always think positive and like you are in rhythm.
Do you think with so much of the finals being mental basketball, you being undefeated on this floor throughout the season so far, does that give you a psychological edge?
You gotta keep the same mindset. Whatever that mindset is, you gotta keep the same mindset that allowed you to win here, many times, and just like you allow you to win in Milwaukee or Philly or Orlando. You gotta keep the same mindset. You gotta be the same team, execute the way you're supposed to execute, and that's it. And then let the chips fall where they may.
Give us an insight into that mindset. So you came into Game 3 and Game 4 in this building and were comfortably victorious. So how do you kind of go into this building?
It's kind of give you a little bit of it, right? I told you, staying in the moment, being aggressive, helping one another, all the fundamentals that you talk about basketball, staying in the moment as much as possible, and execute on both ends, and make plays.
Mark, with Kevin Durant's injury and free agency futures, we might not see sort of that depth lineup with him at the 4 and Draymond Green at the 5 ever again. That might be a thing that's gone. I'm curious, playing outside of that, just being 5 future Hall of Famers, maybe. What did you kind of think of that lineup? How did it impact the game?
You know what? I'm not gonna analyze it, or I'm not gonna spend much time right now thinking about it, because it's just not we're not gonna see. So I'm just gonna worry about the guys that are gonna play and how to stop, the guys that are gonna play. And after that, we can, go back next year and talk about, the shooters, coulda, wouldas. But we're just not gonna see that lineup, even though, like, obviously it's we saw for a few minutes on game.
Do you think when they first used it, did it change the way other teams played? Do you think other teams try to mimic it, whether it's switching and stuff?
I don't know how you mimic that talent. I mean, talent is not something you can mimic, right? How you mimic, KD's or Steph's or Klay Thompson's talent. You can't mimic that. You just can't, right? You can try to run the same actions, but the guys coming off the screens are not, the same. It doesn't matter. It's not an X and O thing. It's a talent thing, and also executing. You do a great job of executing out of that and finding different actions out of it. But it's irrelevant to talk about it right now. It's just not waste of time, but it's just not helping us towards our goal right now.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, that was Marc Gasol. Pascal Siakam we have as well. Some news here, though, first. Where do you want to start? Anthem news or player-related news?
Because we've only been talking about the players, hit me with the Anthem news,
All
Faze.
right. Pat Monahan from Train is singing the U.S. national anthem.
Boring. Sorry. Boring.
Okay. Canadian legend, Sarah McLachlan.
No, you're not serious. Sarah McLachlan.
So is that more exciting than Train?
I'm honestly mystified at both
Drops
of
from
these
Jupiter
decisions.
was mad fire.
Oh, in the arms of an angel, Kauai will carry all of Toronto. I can't wait. Seriously,
Thank you,
Sarah
Kauai.
McLachlan.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle Lowry. All right.
Wow.
You want some player news now
Okay.
or what?
Yeah, hit me with player news.
Kevon Looney is questionable with, I don't know how he's
Kevon,
playing.
are you Wolverine? What is going on that Kevon Looney keeps fighting back and is suddenly healthy again?
Stop. Get your money next year, man.
Get
Get
some
your
sleep.
money.
Chill out.
Apparently, he couldn't raise his right arm above a certain point because he's got a fractured collarbone.
That hurts a lot. I felt like it was glued to his side for a majority of that. I feel like, what was it, second quarter, that it was really hurting? You're going, at this point, are you becoming a liability? I don't know.
Anyways, that's the player news.
Okay.
And the Anthem news. You okay?
The Anthem news was bigger to me personally.
Sure.
Tomorrow on Instagram, join Faisal and I pregame, and please tell me your thoughts on the guy from Train and Sarah McLachlan.
Wait, let's see if
best
there's any
known for the
comments.
Humane Society commercials.
You know what? We won't read those comments. All right. Pascal Siakam spoke just moments ago. Let's get you the spicy pea.
Hey, can you describe what makes Kauai such a beast, and also describe his strength physically?
Describe it. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, dude is a beast, like you said. There's not really much to say. I think, just him out there every single night, the way he does it, is incredible to watch. And, just kind of happy he's on your team. And it's a guy that you want to go out there every single night to fight with.
And do you see that same mode in him in practice, or do you just see it on game day night?
I mean, yeah, it'd be hard to see that in practice because I don't know how hard we practice, but yeah, in terms of this game being out there on the floor, it's amazing to see.
Have you learned anything about his approach to pressure, Pascal?
I'm trying, trying to learn from him. It's incredible how he's always, kind of calm and cool and collected every single time out there. It doesn't matter when, and and he's able to do it every single night. So it's pretty amazing to watch, and something that you hope you can learn from.
You've talked about having to kind of slow yourself down so much because you are so fast and everything. What have you found about playing under this pressure as the series goes on? There's a championship on the line. How do you find just playing under that?
I mean, I don't think for me, it's just, continuing to, the fact that I've never really been at this level and just every day, just out there experiencing and going out there and playing it's fun. I don't think, it's not like I feel like, oh my God, maybe the first game you kind of had that, oh my God, I'm here, but now it's like you're here. There's no more of that, and you just try to go out there and do the best that you can to help your team win.
Pascal, 3 years ago, you were competing.
How are you feeling?
Huh?
What's going through you? You've come this far, you're this close.
How am I feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm at the highest stage, and a lot of people kind of dream to be at this level and be able to play still. It's an amazing feeling just being here and kind of having the chance to compete for a championship.
Pascal, you were competing for a WAC tournament championship 3 years ago in Vegas.
Wow.
I was there.
Throwback.
Yeah, when that shot went over you. Just take me through what this moment means 3 years later. You're 4 quarters away from being an NBA champion.
I don't think if I think about that moment again. I don't know. That was college, and I don't even know that you just reminded me. I forgot about it. But I think it just means, when you see, from being in a WAC tournament to now being here today, it's amazing, and it just shows how far I've come, and I'm just happy to be at this level, and having a chance to compete and maybe win a championship.
Have you been able to enjoy it at all, or is it all business?
Oh no, I've been cool. I've been I have my family, most of the time around, and just having fun and kind of enjoying family time, and that's the mostly what I've been doing, from learning and watching film to just having a good time with my family.
How do you bounce back? We're so close. How do you bounce back?
Next game, this, I think it's something that we've learned from all our series. It went from losing the first game against Orlando to being down 2-0 against Milwaukee, going to Game 7 against Philly, and losing Game 1 at home against the Warriors. So we've been through a lot of things. So I think for us it's just we know what's ahead, and I think as a team we kind of know how to just kind of turn the page and focus on the next thing. And now, we had an opportunity. We didn't win last game, but we have another opportunity to win one game, and I think that's what we think about.
We've asked you so many times when the threes are going in, when they're not, how you feel about your shot. I mean, what do you think the looks you're getting and the defense they're playing?
I think I'm getting decent looks. Like I'm getting open looks. I haven't been able to make them, but I think I'm getting the shots that I want to most of the time. And I just got to be able to knock them down. And for me, it's just continue being aggressive and finding ways to be effective.
Do you have any added confidence, or does this team have any added confidence knowing you guys have won on this floor multiple times this year?
I think as a team, we always felt confident anywhere we went. So all year, that's how we felt. And I think as long as we always felt like as long as we do what we're supposed to do as a team, we're always going to have a chance to win. So that's what we got to do.
So can you put yourself in their shoes a little bit, suffering the loss of Durant, as someone who's experienced loss, you've had injuries and you've had teammates. How hard is that to kind of stomach that, internalize that, and then turn around and go into a championship game?
Right, it's tough, man. I fell for him, just for Durant, and just trying to come back and wanting to do something for your team, and unfortunately, getting injured again. I mean, that it really is something that you don't wish on anybody, and I'm sure it's a tough moment. But they've been through enough to know as a team that they can definitely kind of forget about it. It's hard, but kind of turn the page and focus on winning a championship or having a chance to compete. So I'm sure they it's going to be tough, but they'll come ready to play. It's not like they're not going to be ready to play. So.
I'm sorry, that was when you guys were up 6 points, 3 minutes at the time. There was a timeout. After that time, your game changed. Do you think that a timeout somehow changed the momentum of the game? Remember the last game?
So I don't think so. I mean, it's a game of runs, and people make runs, and that's that.
Is this the same Kauai you've seen all season, or have you even noticed something different out of him in these games?
I mean, I think you always see him, kind of elevate his game when it's, it's kind of what people consider pressure times. He's done it all season, but I think during the playoffs, when every game counts, he's definitely been able to play at a level that's exceptional, and he's always kind of found a way to elevate his game every time we kind of needed him to.
That is Pascal Siakam. I'm not over your reaction to Pat Monahan from Train. That's feels really slanderous and almost unfair to the guy. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. And here's the thing. Sarah McLachlan has a beautiful voice. She'll sing it beautifully. Let's get some oomph into this thing. It's the NBA Finals, Game 6. Where is Celine Dion?
I wish you didn't start talking about Sarah McLachlan so I could say, speaking of Train, the Raptors are doing that right now at practice, training.
You just wanted to get in your
honestly, that's all I wanted to do.
Segue, and I destroyed it.
Just like you destroyed Pat Monahan and Train as well. Boring.
Yeah.
Not boring. The two of us on Instagram Live tomorrow, pregame, ahead of Game 6, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be here taking your comments, your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, anything you got. We are here to talk to you about halftime as well.
Yep.
We will break it down, let you know what has to be done in the second half for both teams. And post-game, we'll be back where you see us right now, sportsnet.ca and YouTube. Full post-game show, win or lose. Win, we'll be here for a long time. Lose, we'll be here for a decent amount of time.
Correct.
It was a long one after Game 5, I guess.
Yeah.
But, hopefully we are here in a winning situation as well. Now, Game 6 means, obviously, no home crowd, but multiple viewing party experiences again. Now, for Game 4 last Friday, I went around the city to kind of gauge the viewing party experience, different ones, to see just the similarities, the differences, and why this was so important. Let's show you the result of that long journey.
Look, it's been rough for the Warriors so far with their. I know. You have a Raptors scarf on. Is that something new for the finals, or did you have it the whole time? Yeah. That's true.
Yo, let's do this.
Now picture homie rolling. Let me offer my condolence. You don't know just how I'm doing. And the silence go them broke cause they know him but talking fluent. Got him under the influence, the truest, so talking to him. But a Kanye ego bumping him out music, I'm eschewing. I just doing good a day, gonna have to get explicit. Checking the repertoire, I got that rep on par with the best who did it. I just get it.
Millions around the country have taken in the Raptors' first ever run to the NBA Finals from their television sets, but that's not the only place people are watching. It's not just Jurassic Park, it's not just the bars, it's movie theaters and even museums. Yes, the Aga Khan Museum, the latest to join in on the viewing party experience. It's just one of the many places we're gonna hit up tonight to get a sense of just how different and how unique and how special the viewing experience is for Raptors fans. So why is something like this so important for you to have come here with your daughters?
We are true Raptors fans. We've followed them for a very long time. We love this team. We're passionate about this team.
Because it's amazing that Raptors has made it this far, especially since it's like the first time in so long.
I mean, honestly, it's just really great to see the whole country to come together as a whole to celebrate such a great team. And for us to finally have a moment like this is just incredible. So it's really special.
It's like a feeling of protection knowing that you have so many people around you that are coming towards one good cause, knowing that there's so many things going on in the world that are like breaking people apart. So I feel like it's a sense of community.
Well, I think that just the one shows Toronto, this is Toronto, the diversity, it speaks for itself, and this is the testament to that.
We have our own place, and this is what a way to celebrate with the Canadians. Number one sport right now in Canada. Absolutely, go Raptors, go.
This is a movie theater. They are showing the Raptors game, and you decided on a Friday night this is where you want it to be. Why?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I wouldn't be anywhere else.
That's it. You just want to be here eating M&Ms, doing your thing.
Watching the Raptors, buddy.
Respect. I'm a little disappointed. There's not a lot of snacks here. I was trying to sneak a little something there. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Put on for my city, man, I put on for my city. Yo, what put on? I suggest you paying dues and you getting busy. Ain't the one to put on anyone. Ask me about it with me. Whether they friends or they enemies, gonna have to miss me, dog. We gon' y'all ain't ready. The whole damn city.
You decided to lie down on the cement on a Friday night to watch the Raptors. Why, my guy? Why?
For the Raptors, man. Anything for the Raptors, man. Cement. It's been too long. Underneath the ocean, anywhere, man.
You know, it's the first time Toronto has been in the finals, especially Canada. Kauai has carried us. Might as well take this chance just to celebrate how far we've come into the finals in the NBA. Now, Toronto's going to be known, and so is Kauai. They're going to be known out of the whole world for taking us to the finals.
So that is a wrap, ending with over 20,000 of the loudest fans in the country here in Mississauga. But honestly, we could have gone anywhere, east to west, and the vibe would have been the exact same. This country is ready for a championship, and the Raptors, well, they're one game away from delivering it.
As you would say, FaZe, Canada is on a vibe.
Canada's on a mad vibe right now, man. Mississauga was on a vibe, 25,000 people reportedly there for that game. It felt like it getting out of that parking lot.
Yes,
for
I was going to say, would you like to share with the people how long it took you guys to get out of the parking lot?
No, it's okay. It felt as long as waiting for tomorrow's tip-off will feel.
Yes,
like another,
agreed.
we're
crawling by.
We're 27 and a half hours away from tip-off for Game 6 between the Raptors and the Warriors. You just saw clips of the Raptors practicing again. What they're hoping is their last practice of the season, win the game tomorrow, win the NBA championship, throw a parade. That's kind of what they're hoping goes down.
Yeah, again, reflecting on everything that the Raptors had to say at the podium ahead of Game 6 is that, again, it's just another game. Not putting too much pressure on themselves or trying not to and trying to focus on the task at hand.
What was not said at the podium was Kevin Durant's injury, officially a ruptured Achilles. He had surgery. He posted on Instagram showing that it went okay. He wanted to be out there, he said himself as well. Teammates against Steph and Clay praising him openly. Demarcus offering advice. He suffered an Achilles injury as well. The Raptors, meanwhile, their focus is simply on the game tomorrow. They got to get the win. don't want to go to Game 7 back at home, although it would be crazy lit for the city. It would mean another chance of the Warriors beating you and winning the championship while you blew a 3-1 lead, and you will be the ire of all the meme jokes that the Warriors were 3 years ago.
Don't want to regret how things ended in Game 5, that's for sure.
All right, last note, we are back here tomorrow.
Yep.
Instagram Live first, so subscribe or follow Sportsnet on Instagram right now. I'm charging my phone, getting ready for it right now. Halftime pregame, 8 p.m. pregame, halftime, I don't know what time that'll be, like 10, 18
You'll be
p.m.
watching,
Eastern.
you'll know.
Yeah, we'll be here doing that. Postgame, right back here on your platform, sportsnet.ca, youtube.ca/sportsnet. Hit subscribe. Full postgame show, win or lose, into the night, into the morning. We will be here to celebrate or console you, regardless of what happens, depending on what happens.
Bring all the snacks.
Bring all the snacks.
That's my advice. Either
Okay,
way.
cool. And we're going to do the same. We had
Yeah,
some here. There's some
we did. There's cheesy dust
stained
still,
paper all over this place that we will take care of as well. So tune into Sportsnet Central tonight. Obviously, you saw we have a crew in Oakland taking care of business. All that stuff will be filed and reported on tonight on Sportsnet Central and through the morning. We will see you tomorrow. Calm your nerves. Eat something light tonight, because tomorrow, well, it's a vibe, as we say. Thanks for watching, everyone.